हेलो माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, मैं हूं आपकी साइंस मेंटर डॉक्टर मंदाकिनी सोरेन। और आज हम लोग फिर से पढ़ने वाले हैं बायोलॉजी का चैप्टर नंबर 5 क्लास 9 का द फंडामेंटल यूनिट ऑफ लाइफ। और ये वीडियो होगा पार्ट 3 का। तो आइए देखते हैं हम इस वीडियो में क्या क्या कवर करने वाले हैं। तो here in this video we'll be covering what is nucleus and its characteristics, types of cell on the basis of nucleus, difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell, what is DNA and its function, difference between chromatin and chromosomes, what is cell division, its types and differences, cell organelles based on presence and absence of membrane, and different types of cell organelles with a flow chart. Now let us start our first topic, that is what is nucleus. So as we already studied in the previous video that nucleus is what? It is the central dense round body, and as we have seen, inside the cell is the nucleus. Okay, inside the cell is the nucleus. Suppose this is a cell, sorry, this is a cell, and inside the cell will be the nucleus, and it is a dense round body and located in the center of a cell. And what are the characteristics? Let us see. It controls the cell, which is also known as brain of a cell. So like our brain, it controls all the functions of our body. So likewise, the nucleus is the brain of a cell. So that means all those functions that are carried out inside a cell is all controlled by the nucleus, and it is a double membrane bound structure. So double membrane bound structure means it has two layers. Okay, that means double membrane, one, and this one is the second one. So double membrane bound structure. Now what it is called? It is called as nuclear envelope. It is called as nuclear envelope. Okay, and this nuclear envelope consists of pores in it. So consists of pores. That means here we can see there are gap. Okay, there will be gap here. Like suppose this is the nucleus, this is the nuclear envelope, and there will be some type of gap in between. Okay, those gap are also called as pores, like in this way. Okay, so these are called as pores. From these pores, what will happen? Some of the materials will come from the cytoplasm and then enter in the nucleus, and some of the materials will go to the cytoplasm from the nucleus. Okay, so this nucleus, it consists of DNA, that is a genetic material, as we say, DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, deoxyribonucleic Cl nucleic EIC, nucleic acid. So this DNA, these are found in the scattered form inside the nucleus. Now these are the characteristics of a nucleus. Then let's move to the next one. So based on the basis of nucleus, there are two types of cell, okay, or cells are divided into two types, that is the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell. So prokaryotic cell, what type of cell is it? So prokaryotic means the previous one, previously existing cell, okay, pre-existing, we can tell pre-existing or previously existing cell, pre-existing cell. So that means when the earth was formed, the first organism that existed in nature was the bacteria, and those bacteria are also called as bacterial cell or prokaryotic cell, okay, those bacteria are called as prokaryotic cell. And what does the bacteria contains or what it does not contain? So bacteria or the prokaryotic cell, they do not have a nucleus. That means here nucleus is undefined, and that reason is called as nucleoid. And absence of membrane bound cell organelles, okay, so cell organelles that we can see in different types of eukaryotic cells, so those cell organelles are also absent in case of prokaryotic cell. And let us see what does a eukaryotic cell contains. So eukaryotic cell, they have a very well defined nucleus and presence of membrane bound cell organelles also. So let us see, like for example, as I already told, bacterial cell, those are prokaryotic cell, and they were the first organisms that were found when the earth earth came into being. And those bacterial cells, they have the plasma membrane. Here they have the cell wall as the outer covering. Then they have the nucleoid. Here you can see in the figure those DNA are here in this region, but that is not called as nucleus, okay, it is not called as nucleus, but this region where the DNA is found is called as nucleoid, okay. And no membranes, there are no membranes, as there is no nucleus, so there won't be any nuclear envelope, okay. Then you can find some ribosomes here. So ribosomes are what? These are structures that makes protein. That means they help in the synthesis of protein, and they have some unique structures. These are called as flagella. Those are hair-like structures that are present in the body of the bacterial cell. What is the function of these hair-like structures? These flagella, they help them in case of movement. So when they move from one place to another place, those flagella, they help them to move or move from one place to another place, okay. So those ribosomes, as you have seen, those ribosomes are common in case of prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic cell. And then in case of eukaryotic cell, like for example plant cell and animal cell, so you can see that there is the plasma membrane or the cell membrane, but as I already told, you can find the cell wall in case of plant cell, okay, but you cannot find cell wall in case of animal cell. So here I did not denoted because in case of animal cell you cannot find cell wall, but in case of plant cell you can find cell wall. Okay, that is made up of cellulose. And then you can see all those membrane bound organelles, that are vacuoles. Those functions we are going to study later on. Then you can see the nucleus in between, which have the DNA inside it. Then you can see the cytoplasm or jelly-like substance, as I already told. Here in the middle here, those are cytoplasm. Then the mitochondria, also called as the powerhouse of the cell. So you can see here ribosomes will also be there. So various types of cell organelles are there. So these are the differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. So let's move to the next one. Now next is, what is DNA? So DNA, as I already told, it is deoxyribonucleic acid. So what do you mean by RNA? RNA, that will be only ribonucleic acid. Okay, deoxy, you cut down deoxy from here and only ribonucleic acid. So DNA is what? DNA is double-stranded structure. Okay, double-stranded means made up of histone protein. Okay, so double-stranded structure. So and RNA will be single-stranded structure. Then what are the functions of DNA? It carries all the information about our characteristics, such as our hairstyle, that will be either straight or curly, our iris color, either brown, black, blue or green, our earlobe, either free or attached, and many more. Okay, so DNA, what does it do? It carries all those information about you and me from and it carries from your parents or my parents to you and to me. Okay, so that means those characteristics that will be carried from the parents to the offspring, or you can tell information of characteristic that will travel from generation to generation. Okay, so what type of, let us see what type of characteristics. So your hairstyle that you have, that will be either straight or curly, will depend on what type of characteristics came from your parents. Okay, the color of your iris, so that will be either brown, black, blue or green. That also depends on the information that is carried by the DNA. And your earlobe, that will be either free or attached, that also. So and many more characteristics that will be carried to you from your parents. Okay, I think that is very clear to you. Okay, then let's move to the next one. So there are two terms in case of DNA. One is chromatin and other one is chromosomes. So what do we mean by chromatin? Chromatin means a scattered form of DNA throughout the nucleus. So scattered form of DNA throughout the nucleus. Okay, scattered form of DNA. Have you seen the DNA inside the nucleus that is in scattered form? So this is called as chromatin, and you can find this scattered form of DNA or the chromatin you can find before cell division. Okay, before cell division, when the cell is has still not started its division process, so you can find the chromatin in DNA in this type of structure. Then as and when the cell division starts, what happens is the highly coiled and condensed form of DNA. Okay, so you can see highly coiled and condensed form of DNA. They are visible only during cell division. So chromosomes are made up of DNA and proteins that are also histone proteins. So chromosomes, okay, let me show you. Chromosomes are what? Chromosomes are highly coiled and condensed form of DNA. So before cell division, what was there? Before cell division, the DNA was in scattered form. Then when cell division started, then these chromatin, what happened is they coiled. Like, have you seen spring? Yeah, I think every one of you have seen the spring. Okay, so it will coil in this way, like a spring type, and then afterwards what will happen is this spring will again coil together, unite together, and then form a shape like this. Okay, a shape like this. So this is called as, or it will be called as, chromosome. So this chromosome is made up of what? DNA. So this chromosome is made up of what? DNA and protein molecules. Okay, so this chromosome is made up of deoxyribonucleic acid and protein, that will be histone protein. Now let's move to the next one. So what is cell division? So cell division, it is the process by which a parent cell divides into two or more cells, or also called as the daughter cells. So it is the process by which a parent cell, what happens is, as we have studied before, parent cell divides into two or more daughter cells. Okay, and this cell division can be of two types. So one is mitosis and other one is meiosis. So what is mitosis? Let us see. Mitosis is when two daughter cells are formed. Mitosis, it is the process of cell division where two daughter cells are formed. Only two daughter cells are formed. But in case of meiosis, it is the process of cell division where four daughter cells are formed. Okay, here two daughter cells are formed, here four daughter cells are formed. Again, in case of mitosis, daughter cells contains equal number of chromosome as the parent cell. So in case of mitosis, as the nucleus of the cell will contain chromosomes, so those chromosomes that the nucleus will contain, that will be transferred to the daughter cells, exactly the same number of chromosomes that the parent cell contains. And in case of meiosis, daughter cells have the half the number of chromosomes as the parent cell. So in case of meiosis, the daughter cells, the four daughter cells that will be formed will be the half the number of chromosomes that the parent cell will have. Okay, and mitosis, it helps in growth and repair of damaged tissue. So this division will help in the growth and repair of damaged tissue. So those damaged tissues or those cells that became older one or dead, they will repair those tissues and it will help in the growth. Okay, then in case of meiosis, it will be responsible for the production of gametes, that is egg and the sperm cell. So meiosis division will directly help in the production of gametes that we call as the sex cells also. So that will be the egg and sperm cell in case of male and female body. So let us study further. I shall draw diagrams in order to be very convenient one, so that you can understand. So in case of mitosis, what will happen is, mitosis, there will be formation of two daughter cells from the parent cell. Suppose this is the parent cell, and inside the parent cell you have the nucleus. Okay, and formation of two daughter cells. So two daughter cells will be formed. Here again inside there will be the nucleus. Okay, now what we mean by mitosis is the number of chromosomes that will be there in the parent cell will exactly be divided into the two daughter cells. So if I consider 12 number of chromosomes in the parent cell, so that will be exactly the same. So those daughter cells will also consist of 12 and 12 number of chromosomes inside the nucleus. But in case of meiosis, what will happen is, meiosis, suppose this is the parent cell, and again this parent cell will contain 12 number of chromosomes, suppose, I'm telling, suppose. So again we know that in case of meiosis, formation of 4 daughter cells, okay, 4 daughter cells, one, then 2, then 3, and then 4, formation of 4 daughter cells. Then suppose again the parent cell contains 12 number of chromosomes, and in case of meiosis what happens is half the number of chromosomes will be distributed to the 4 daughter cells. So half the number of chromosomes, that will be half of 12 will be 6. So daughter cells will contain 6 number of chromosomes. Now you are going to question that how is it possible, isn't it? So yes, we know that this number of chromosomes will also double. So that is a different thing you are going to study later on. So this is the main difference between mitosis and in case of meiosis. So same number of chromosome will be distributed between the two daughter cells in case of mitosis, and in case of meiosis half the number of chromosomes will be distributed among the 4 daughter cells in case of meiosis. You are only to remember this point. Okay, then let's move to the next one. So what are cell organelles? Cell organelles are little organs or organized structures of a cell. So inside a cell we have the nucleus, and there are jelly-like substances also called as the cytoplasm. Okay, we have studied before. This is the cell. This is the cell. This will be the nucleus, and this there in between the nucleus and the plasma membrane we have the cytoplasm or the jelly-like substance, and in the cytoplasm there will be floating of cell organelles. Okay, cell organelles, these are also membrane bound structures, so they have a membrane. Okay, or they do not consist of membrane also, you can find in some cases, yes, in some rare cases. Okay, so these are what these are cell organelles are, little organized structures, and these structures are very essential to the cell as they have unique characteristics of their own, they have unique shape of their own, different sizes of their own, and also they functions differently, and they very differently, and they have their unique functions, they have their unique characteristics. So in order so that the cell will survive, and those functions should perform by should be performed by the cell organelles. Okay, so let us see whether these cell organelles are membrane bound or not. Okay, so see, there can be membrane-less cell organelles also. So membrane-less cell organelles, that means they do not have membrane. So those are ribosomes and centrosome. Also centrosomes are also called as centriole, that helps in cell division, and ribosome as we already studied in the previous diagram. So single membrane bound structures, that will be only single layer. Okay, single layer, only single layer. and those cell organelles are what? Golgi apparatus, then endoplasmic reticulum, vacuole, then lysosome. Then double membrane bound structures. Double membrane bound. One is this one and other one is this one. So they will have two membrane. That means two coverings, outer coverings. Those are nucleus, I already told. Then the mitochondria and plastis will also contain double membrane. So I think this is very clear to you. Okay, now let's see the flow chart of those cell organelles. So let us see what type of cell organelles. So those are endoplasmic reticulum, and endoplasmic reticulum is divided into two types. One is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum and other one is the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth surface, they have a smooth surface, for which they are called as smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and those endoplasmic reticulum that are very rough, or they have a very rough surface, are called as rough endoplasmic reticulum. So this endoplasmic reticulum you can find attached to the nucleus. Okay, then others are Golgi apparatus, then mitochondria, vacuoles, lysosome and plastis. So these functions or those characteristics we are going to study in the next video, so stay tuned for the next video. So again we are going to see from the earlier what topics that we discussed today. So let us see first from the beginning. So we studied about the nucleus. So nucleus, as we know, that it is the central dense round body, and it is also called as the brain of the cell because it controls all the functions of the cell, and it is a double membrane bound structure that is called as nuclear envelope, and it has pores in it which helps in the entry and exit of some of the materials to the cytoplasm. Then this nucleus contains what? The genetic material or the DNA. Then based on the presence and absence of nucleus, cells are divided into two types, that is prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. As we have seen in the diagram, so what does the prokaryotic cell consist of or do not consist of, and what does the eukaryotic cell consist of, that already I explained. So then next one is the characteristics of DNA and its functions. Then what are chromatin and chromosomes. Then we studied about the cell division and its types. Then we studied about what type of what is the process or differences between mitosis and meiosis. Then we studied about the cell organelles and how what type of membranes does it contains. Those cell organelles contains, either they consist of membranes or do not consist of membrane. And then at last we studied about the types of the cell organelles that helps for the various functions of the cell. So I think all of you have understood. So if you like my video, please share, comment and subscribe my channel, and thank you for watching my video, and stay tuned for the fourth part of the same chapter, the fundamental unit of life. Stay tuned. Thank you so much.